Well, the first year is kind of intense, just getting used to being in a classroom all day long, 100% of the time, and then going from that to class for 3 hours, 2 nights a week. It definitely feels like a lot, especially at the beginning. And there's a fair amount of reading and homework and writing, and a lot of assignments are actually like classroom observation type of assignments, which is actually really great. Or like, you know, develop a 5-part lesson plan and teach 2 of the parts and write a reflection. And so that's really wonderful because it really integrates like your classroom work experience with what you're doing in your classes at night. But the year flies by and it's a ton of fun and you learn so much. And then in the summer, everyone teaches in a public school. You can also apply to Aim High or a couple of or Summer Bridge or a couple of other summer programs that that pay you or aren't necessarily volunteer. And so I taught at Aim High last year, which is also a really intense program. It's 5 weeks long and it's all day long, and you teach your own class. And in that summer program, if you work at Aim High, then you have a teaching assistant and an intern to work with you as well. And then I had about 3 weeks off, which was great. I got to go home to Vermont and then started back up in teaching first grade, which is also like kind of a big jump from 3rd grade to 1st grade. It's only 2 years, but developmentally it's huge. So getting used to that has been fun and a challenge as well. And the 2nd year is still a lot of schoolwork, but you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are kind of just clicking. I think, like speaking with my peers, everyone just feels a lot more confident in their 2nd year. And a lot of people say that their relationship with the lead teacher in their 2nd year is much more like an even balance in terms of how much work you're doing and how much planning and responsibility you have in the classroom. So that's really, it's rewarding and it's fun to kind of be in almost like a co-teacher situation. And then starting in January, we get to start doing the big job search. And writing our PACT, which is the big end of the year
capstone project
that you have to complete and submit to the state of California in order to get your teaching credential. Yeah.
The PACT involves planning a connected series of 3 to 5 math lessons, writing extensive plans, videotaping yourself, critiquing your videotape, assessing how the students, what they learned and didn't learn, talking about reflecting on what you would do differently next time. So it really is a way to summarize all that you've learned in the teaching program. So let's just, thank you. Let's look at the trajectory of what it is like to be a BATTI student and how you enter. So just briefly, you're going to apply if you're interested in this program. You're going to apply by February 15th. You're going to be interviewed in March. You're going to be accepted into the program quickly after that, by late March. You'll be simultaneously looking for an assistant teacher job, where you'll be interviewed in April and hired in May, probably. Classes will start in in late August. And you may be part of a week-long intensive public school experience before classes start in mid-August. When classes start, you start teaching at your school in late August. Fall semester, now we're going pretty fast, spring semester, summer semester classes, and a teaching job in the summer of 15. And then
That was fast.
That was fast. And then fall and spring classes again, and you graduate in May 2016. And you have the opportunity, it's your responsibility to then apply for your official teaching credential, but BATTI has gotten you you've checked off all the boxes to get your credential from the state of California. BATTI is like a driver training program, and you have to go to get to the DMV to get your license after you graduate from BATTI. So what is it like to be a BATTI student day to day? First of all, it's hard. The very first year, when the students were in the throes of their hard spring, they said, darn it, truth in advertising. At those information sessions, you have to tell them that it's hard. And I have done that for 12 straight years. Because you are working full-time. You are pouring your heart out to these first graders, second graders. These are the little kids. They get so big in your mind. It's so funny when I would see one of my fourth graders on the weekend on the street. I say, who's that little kid? And then during the week, they're just big. They're just my whole life. You know what I mean? So you are involved. You're solving everything happens at lunch and recess. You know, after lunch, you're working on conflict resolution because two kids have been fighting with each other, and so you have silent reading time. And then the day is over, and Tuesday and Thursday, lo and behold, you have to go to a class and sit in a 3-hour graduate level class. Where do you get the energy to do that? A, you're really happy to see the people who very quickly become your great buddies. The cohort experience of this program is wonderful. You're with the same people for 2 years, and there's a lot of bonding. We make things happen. We have a lot of snacks. So we go on a great fall retreat. But we're just lucky to have really wonderful people, and so that's powerful, part of the experience. You are working with 20 first graders, and you are being mentored by what we call your mentor teacher, your lead teacher, the head teacher in that classroom, who is a funny role, dual role, being your boss and your mentor. And as Caroline said, oftentimes in the second year, you're really getting closer to being a co-teacher with that person. But that is a teacher of record in the classroom, and you're there to help and to sometimes be the copy jockey, and sometimes line up the kids and take them out to recess, and collecting homework and correcting homework, but you get an increasing level of responsibility as you go along in the 2 years of the program. And BATTI gives a stipend to each of these mentors, gets them to come to 2 mentor trainings, and we really help these people make explicit what they are doing. The hardest thing about being a mentor is you've been doing things a veteran teacher for 15 years has been doing without thinking. It's just gotten ingrained. But with an apprentice there, that lead teacher has to say, okay, here's what I do before I line the kids up. I ask them very explicitly that they have to do this and then that, put their things away in a certain way, and so she has to explain everything so that you can hear it and model your new teaching after them. Then other things in a BATTI Students Month. You're taking 2 classes at a private school site. Our classes are in San Francisco or in the East Bay. We have classes on the 3rd floor of this school here. We try to have our classes at schools close to BART, convenient places, and 4:30 to 7:30, usually on a Tuesday and Thursday. And you are also in your first year and in your summer going to get good public school experience. First year, 30 to 45 hours. You can be volunteering. Your private school will let you go 1 morning a week, and you'll get a chance to see a nearby public school. Maybe it's a public school that's in your neighborhood, and maybe it's a public school where you already have made a connection, and you will volunteer for 2 to 3 hours 1 morning a week, and really get a chance to compare public schools and private schools and first grade, where there are English learners, versus first grade at a private school. Often there might be no English language learners, so it's really a crucial distinction. A lot of the classes are very geared toward teaching English learners. A lot of the university classes, because of the requirements of the state of California, credentialing programs really focus you on how to teach kids, because 35% California kids come at age 5 to school with English as a new language to them. They may know playground talk and yes and no, but academic is brand new. So, Let me pause here and see if you have any questions. Yes.
Do you have the same mentor teacher in year 1 and year 2? It switches.
Most of the time it switches. There are a couple of schools, Burke School in the city and one other that like to have
Maybe town school.
in town. No, town definitely switches.
Oh.
Burke School really wants people to be in the same classroom for 2 years. It's kind of teacher power. The teachers have persuaded the administration, oh, I really want to have, because it is easier for them. They get to know and the routines become easier. For our purposes, it's much better to get to see a kindergarten and a 3rd grade or a 1st grade and a 4th grade, to see different developmental stages of children, to see 2 different mentoring styles, 2 different teaching styles, so you can kind of, I'm gonna be tough like Annie Fujimoto is, but I'm also going to be, so what have you learned in your 2 different, you've had 2 people?
Yeah, it's really fun and great opportunity to work with 2 different teachers. Like I said before, I was in 3rd grade last year with Alyssa Fisher, who is wonderful, and she also has a very different style than the teacher who I'm working with now. And so just seeing like different classroom routines, lesson planning, kind of strategies, just like overall like presence with kids, and yeah, it's really great to see like how different teachers do it and do it well in so many different ways. So it's awesome. Although it is difficult also to learn like a whole new set of routines and, you know, where everything is in the classroom, but that goes quick.
Any other questions?
So there isn't a certain set required amount of hours that you have to work, so if you get a part-time position or a full-time position, that will both...
Minimum of half-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Prospects here in the 4th grade, I know it's a half-time position. And if, for your situation, you have a business, you want to keep going, or family, it is possible to work less than half-time.
Do you know of the schools in your network that offer part-time positions as opposed to full-time positions, or it just comes up?
It just comes, just a few.
Okay.
How many schools are there?
There are 25 schools
25.
ranging from, we have somebody who's working at a school in Los Gatos now, who comes up to class in San Francisco. We have had people in, I'm going for the flung first, Walnut Creek, 7 Hills School. We have had people at the Marin Country Day School and Marin Horizon School, but the great majority of the schools are in Oakland and San Francisco.
So not Pleasanton or Dublin or
No,
Livermore?
we
not
haven't
that
had
area.
any. That would be a commute to, but it would be possible, especially with the Oakland classes. It would be possible. Yeah. There are some schools that we could do outreach to. Any other questions?
I have a question about the lead teachers. Are they the same? Like, if a teacher is a mentor 1 year, are they a mentor the next year? Or they take some time off between mentoring?
It varies from school to school. Sometimes a school will hire a big raft of BATTI people, like 4 people in 1 year, and then maybe there'll be 4 mentors, and then the next year 4 different mentors, and those people will not. But sometimes I see the same people at the mentor meetings over and over again. Because they're so good, the school assigns an intern to them, and so they mentor year after year. Yeah. We're very proud that we have a lot of BATTI graduates as mentors. Both of you mentors.
Oh, that's
Graduates
awesome.
from BATTI. We have BATTI people working in 40 schools, public and private, in the Bay Area now. We have over 220 graduates. We have 68 people in the program right now, and I expect to have, as I said, 35 next year.